And welcome back to Across the Board with E and the Colonel here on Hawk Radio, hawkradio.org. And again, I hate to pat ourselves in the back, but we just bring in the best bands all the time. That's what we do. I don't know anything else. So on the line right now, great band out of Brooklyn, The Energy, Adam Wolfsdorf. Adam, are you there?
I am here, I hope.
You sound there to us. So you guys are you on the road right now?
We actually, gratefully, because we're on the road a lot, we're actually in New York right now because we just finished up a CD release show here at Irving Plaza on Saturday.
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
we get a little bit of time now to reconnect with our roots before launching off again.
Nice. So, and of course, you guys are Brooklyn guys, so great to be so popular there in New York as well. The new album, this is actually your fourth studio album, Streets of In Between. Tell us a little bit about what the fans and maybe some new fans can expect from this album.
Yeah, I mean, I think the album is a lot of fun. It's peppy, it's bright. It's at the same time it's sort of significant, meaningful. So we tried to sort of synthesize having like a fun, energetic, exciting sound with sort of like more profound personal touches. So you'll probably hear like a bit of an integration of both those concepts going on. But definitely our funnest album to date, and the reviews we've been getting so far have been fantastic. So we're very grateful for that.
Nice. Yeah, we love the music that we've heard off of it, and big fans and looking forward to seeing what else you have, and hopefully catching you guys on the road sometime soon as well. As we're based here in Maryland, you're in New York, so not quite far away. Tell us a little bit about your touring plans and where, again, we broadcast. People are hearing you right now across the country, across the world here on Across the Board. So, where can they catch you on the road?
Yeah, well, I mean, we do over 100 shows a year nationally. So, we hit the East Coast often, obviously locally. We've played in College Park. We've actually played at the University of Maryland at the Santa Fe Cafe.
Okay, that's a sister school of ours,
Rams Head Live in Baltimore.
Yeah.
We've played at the 8x10 in Baltimore. We tour D.C., North Carolina, South Carolina, and then, all the way down to Florida, obviously. And then for everybody else in the country, up here on the Northeast, of course, is where we're based. Last year, we were also in the Midwest. We were in North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and then we also head out to California, Vegas, Arizona. So we pretty much touched most of the states. We're checking them off one by one.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Absolutely. Now, so you guys are, a great band and getting widely known, selling out venues all over the country, but still, catching up to a lot of the mainstream media starting to catch up and really know about you guys. So, want to kind of educate people about who you are. So, when you're live, what is one of your favorite songs to play live?
Well, our new track, Go To Girl, which is the single off our new album, Streets of In Between, which I guess you guys have a copy of now.
Exactly.
It's the first track on the album. It's the single on the album. It's a hell of a lot of fun. It's really peppy, upbeat, really catchy. Probably has some it's a very modern rock song, but I think it has some elements of even 1950s rock in there too, like some sort of old school stuff too. So. That's a really good one. And, another one off the new album is a song called Until I Fall, which was it's actually, as of today, is ranked top 20 songs in the country by Alternative Addiction, which is, and not just top 20 sort of indie artists, but top 20, even among bands like Three Doors Down, Eve Six.
Who you've toured with.
So, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now,
so we're growing, and it's exciting, and I think for people who are finding out about us now, it's sort of a very exciting time because we're sort of making that transition from a grassroots band to sort of a national and hopefully as well international band. So it's a good time to know about us.
Now, who would you describe as your influences as a band and personally as a musician as well?
Personally, I'm a huge U2 fan. Always have been.
Good choice.
As cliche as it sounds, it's just unbelievable. I would also say other influences, REM, Our Lady Peace, even bands like the Beatles and Rush, and then sort of more modern artists like Kings of Leon we get compared to at times, Coldplay.
I can see that, yeah.
So, I think it's we definitely have our influences, and then at the same time we're sort of doing our own thing, which is you can't help it because it's invariably if you don't want to sound derivative, you're going to present something that has a personal touch, and I think we definitely do that.
Now, again, since you guys are really getting the celebrity status and you're out there and you're playing Voice of America and you're doing all these big shows, who would actually make you at this point in your career? What musician could you meet that would actually make you starstruck?
Well, I would definitely say Bono. I mean, I know I said U2 already, but one of the things I love about U2 is that, for people who are just such incredible musicians, they have like a real message in what they do as well, and they do a lot of good in the world. So definitely say them. I love the band Angels and Airwaves. It's another big influence on us.
Yeah, Tom DeLonge, great stuff, yeah.
Yeah, not him as much as a role model, but more as a musician probably.
Okay.
Who else? Michael Stipe, Geddy Lee. Yeah, I mean, there's so many out there, so many people that we have such high respect for.
And it seems like every band we've had on this show has listed Rush as a favorite or an influence. So it's proven fact then. Everyone loves Rush.
It's interesting because it's not like Rush is one of these sort of like you got the Rolling Stones, you have U2, you have these bands that sort of like pop and everybody knowledge based. But it seems like people who like really know music have a great deal of respect for Rush and what they've done.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, talking about some of the greatest musicians to ever walk the face of the earth, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
They really do have a lot of influence on everyone. So I'm glad to see that they are popping up on people's lists. You mentioned U2 being a huge influence on you personally and professionally as well. Is there? I mean, do you guys cover any U2 songs? Do you see that in your future, or is that just just something you leave strictly as a
influence?
Yeah, as an influencer.
Yeah, we I mean, when we're playing, like if we're playing, whether we're playing for people who have seen us, 100 times, or people who have seen us for the first time, we'll oftentimes throw in something, some cover, like we have a really cool Beatles medley that we do. We've done like Sunday Bloody Sunday on the U2 front. We've done Sunday Bloody Sunday. We've covered One. We've covered With or Without You. We've covered Pride. And then we have a song. It was actually off not the most recent album, but the one before that, an album called Realize Your Sin, which is a bit more of a political album. We have a song on that called Devil on Horseback, which is sort of like our striking out at the Sudanese government. Is based on a documentary, actually, and it's sort of like it's our anti-war song, and people know it as sort of like our version of Sunday Bloody Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, more updated version on that. That's great. Now, so you guys are on tour, like you said. You're playing 100 shows, around that a year. What do you always have with you on the road that keeps you kind of grounded and keeps you sane while you're out there?
It's a great question, man. It's a great question.
Well, thank you.
Most people don't. Most people who you think, oh, well, you're in a band, you're on the road. Wow, it's like this glamorous life, which obviously it certainly has those elements, but you also really need things to root you, because if you don't have those, I think it explains why a lot of musicians lose it, because you need sort of those roots. And I think one of the fundamental things we have, and as corny or cliche as this may sound, is we have each other. We're very, very good friends in the band. Like, they're among my best friends in the world. And, like, we've had situations with other band members where, like, the chemistry hasn't been that good.
Right.
And we've wound up, changing band members to sort of get both, like, the musical and the social chemistry right. So I would say definitely each other. I mean, you want to bring your favorite books. You want to bring your laptop so that you can have connection to the world, so you can listen to you guys on Hawk Radio.
Absolutely.
Great answer.
And obviously your cell phone, and then the people you love and care about. They oftentimes, people will come with you for legs of tours and stuff like that. So
nice. Yeah, it's got to be tough to be, in a tour bus, in a van, whatever, bands happen to be in. You're on the road. It's probably only, Stephen Christian from Amber Lynn said it's only really glamorous for maybe 45 minutes a night, and then you're in a cramped bunk and you have nothing to do, and what do you do? But
can I just say one other thing?
Go for it. Absolutely.
That's a great quote. It's only glamorous for 45 minutes a day. That's
right.
Interesting. I think you sort of like you learn to adjust to the difference between what you expect it to be like and what it's actually like. And the best parts are, as good or better than you would have hoped. But you have to sort of get used to sort of like both aspects of it. You have to get used to sort of like the sort of grind of it, and then you have to at the same time, because at times you're driving 7 hours at a time, 10 hours at a time. As you said, you're sleeping. At times you're sleeping in a nice hotel. At times you're crashing on somebody's couch. It just depends what's going on.
Right.
So you have to sort of like, you sort of have to sort of adjust you have to adjust yourself, and it definitely is a reacclimation process for sure.
Now,
like being an astronaut.
Yeah, right. Now, tell me, what do you want to accomplish as a band? And you're getting into the mainstream, big side of things. You guys are celebrities now, but still close enough to where you were, an independent, smaller band. How do you define success?
That's another incredible question, and obviously, it's so like a question like that is so personal in a sense, because you hear we think, okay, if we could get to the point where we're like a Three Doors Down, that would be like our definition of success. But then you have a band like Three Doors Down that says, if we can get to the level of like Muse or U2 or R.E.M., then we'll be a success. Like, it's almost like sort of like you're always chasing your own tail on a certain level, and you're always chasing like that carrot in front of you at the same time, So, like, you sort of always have to redefine it. Like, there was a time when we said, if we could get our music on MTV, wouldn't that be great? That happened. If we could get on ESPN, wouldn't that be great? If we could get our songs on the radio, wouldn't that be great? And then you get it, and then you say, okay, good. But then you have to reassess it, and then you got to set the benchmark further, But at the same time, you have to appreciate what you've done, because if you don't appreciate what you've done, then, then I think that's where, individually and as a band, you can sort of feel disappointed.
Right, but you're not complacent. You're hungry for more, and that's great. That's how you guys
We're really
keep...
hungry. I mean, that's sort of that's the nature of the beast. I mean, I think one of the most gratifying things, like, because we are musicians, we are performers. When I hear someone approached me recently after one of our big shows, actually our CD release show here in New York, and said when you sing, I really feel like the music gets inside of me, and that's it makes me feel at home. And that, little things like that, you'd be surprised. Like, that can really sort of be very, very fulfilling to hear as a musician.
Oh, I'm sure that could be one of the best compliments you can get.
Now, what is in the band's near future, and how can fans keep in touch with you while you're on the road?
Okay. Well, first of all, for people who want to track us, I mean, obviously we have MySpace and we have Facebook. It's myspace.com/TheEnergyBand, Facebook.com/TheEnergyBand. Or The Energy Music, I think, is how you can look us up on Facebook. Another thing, too, obviously, is, if you do want to check out our music, you do want to even check out one track, we're on iTunes, and you can check us out and see if you like what you hear, and so that's another mechanism. We're going to be in Philadelphia in February. We're also going to be, I believe we're in Mohegan Sun in March, up in Connecticut. And we're also, it looks like we're about to everybody cross their fingers, about to get on a big festival in New Orleans in March with Metallica and Three Doors Down and Sublime and the Foo Fighters, and so that's looking like it's pretty close to being a certainty, which would be amazing.
It would be incredible, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've heard of the other bands. I mean, everybody will go to see you guys, but they'll be like, Metallica, not familiar with them. No,
yeah, right.
Some up and coming rats.
You've heard of them, right?
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Last question: the band name, The Energy. Obviously, it could have come from several places. One thing that came to mind. I don't know where it came from. One thing that came to mind to me was the audio event song, The Energy. Did it come from there, or where did you get that?
That's another interesting idea. We actually started off originally as a cover band. This was about 6 years ago. And we used to play, music by Vertical Horizon, U2, or a lot of our heroes. And we were called Furious George at the time. That was our original name. And
that's
then,
an awesome band name.
What's that?
I said that's an awesome band name. I love that.
It was cool, and actually we would have kept it. But there was this guy in New York who was sort of like a heavy metal type guy. And apparently he had had the name for about 20 years. So we got an email at one point to our band account, and he was threatening to sue us if we didn't change our name. So we sort of thought, all right, we'll change our name. And we were working on our first album at the time, and our producer at the time, sort of, when he had seen us perform, he's like, one thing I like a lot about you guys compared to a lot of other bands is that when you're on stage, you really bring it. Like, you have a very dynamic, exciting live show. Because there's a lot of bands that I love that I go to see live, and I'm like, I'd rather actually just listen to the album, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Because as a fan, I want to go out there and I want to see something that I haven't seen before, right? Or I want to be moved in a particular way. And he was like, yo, you guys are incredibly energetic and fun, and you put so much into it. Why don't you call yourselves The Energy? And it was interesting because at first we were like, yeah, maybe. And then we sort of thought about it, and it's sort of like the name sort of grew on us, and then we were like, yeah, why not? And then, obviously it stuck.
Yeah, I'm completely with you with that. As most fans would be, you don't want to really just listen to a show or see a show. You want to experience a show. That's what you're paying the money for. So that's great that you guys focus on that. That's huge.
Yep.
So again, thanks for the time, Adam. Check out The Energy. Again, the MySpace is myspace.com/TheEnergyBand. Again, myspace.com/TheEnergyBand. And Streets of In Between is the new album. Loving the stuff. We're playing it here, and you can of course request it here on Hawk Radio. And go out and see these guys on tour. Check them out now before they're selling out the huge 60,000 seat venues and everything. You can check them out now in these places, and Rams Head Live and 8x10 and all of those in our area. So, Adam, again, we appreciate it, and thanks a lot.
You got it, man. Anytime. Thank you guys so much for playing us and caring about the project.
Absolutely, man. We're big fans, and we'll keep spinning you guys here on Hawk Radio. This has been Adam from The Energy here with us on Across the Board with E and the Colonel on Hawk Radio.
HawkRadio.org.